2026 annual town meeting to order at 5 p.m. Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. First order of business is to call the meeting to order and, of course, to stand and give pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. That completes item number 1. Number 2, approval of the 2025 annual meeting and the November 2025 special meeting of the electors' minutes, which Mr. Clerk, I believe those are some of the documents up front there.
Yep, they are up front. So just a couple notes about it. The April 15, 2025 minutes were prepared by the former clerk, and then the November 2025 one, that was from our meeting for the budgets last fall. Well, it was the meeting record with those 4 that we did. So
They are available for inspection at the desk here. If anybody in the electors would like to see them, I'll just pause for a minute to give you an opportunity. And for the record, I believe we have a total of 7 electors present at the moment, so the record should reflect that. Given our clerk and deputy clerk are not town residents, I believe that makes 7 of us here today. Number 3, Plan Commission report.
all right, so the 2025 year Plan Commission report from the office manager at the building inspector reports that it was another busy year. There were a total of 8 meetings in the year. They considered ordinance updates for Chapter 105. There were 2 certified survey maps that were approved on Gilbert Road. The new building was approved for laying equipment on Congress Drive. The final approval was given for the Albert subdivision off Daly Road, which now we're actually seeing one house is being built in there, other lots for sale. Work continued with the Hudson Boosters project, creating a youth-oriented recreational district. The approval of the Willow River Greenhouse. The approval and almost completion of the St. Croix County Highway Shop building off Highway 12. And the approval of the site plan for the building on Sturvant Avenue in our architecture park.
Does any of the electors have any questions, comments? I believe the report is also available if anybody wanted to see it. We'll give a pause just to give you an opportunity if anybody wants to see it. Any comments from the electors on that? We want to make a motion to approve the Plan Commission report.
Move to approve Plan Commission report as presented.
I second that.
All right. Motion by Dave, second by Elector Dan. Osterling. All those in favor of accepting that Plan Commission report, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Appears the motion carries 7-0. Now, Mr. Clerk, if you wouldn't mind giving us the building inspector's report.
Yeah, so the 2025 annual reports for the building inspector, there were 242 total permits, a total value of $23,508,304. Fees collected were $133,552. Administrative fees were $17,687.20. Also on the table for review is the printout of this report that goes through what types of permits were out there and the associated value with those projects.
Any questions from the electors on the building inspector's report? I have one question. How does that compare dollar-wise to the previous year?
Permit-wise, we were about the same number, 244 for 2024. Total value, we are about $3 million more. Total fees, we are about $12,000 more. And administrative fees, we were about almost $1,600 more than the previous year.
Very good. Anybody else have any questions? about the building inspector's report. Question, who prepared the building inspector's report?
The building inspector himself, both the plan commission and the building inspector reports came from there.
All right. Do we have a motion from the electors to approve the building inspector's report as submitted?
So moved. And so
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Susan Blank. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of accepting the report as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you for calling out.
Chairman's report, I didn't put anything in writing. I think that this is mostly for the benefit of those who may be watching at home. I think that what we have in the next coming year is a couple of primary challenges. We are still actively in the process of hopefully coming to a resolution on this UU property. I think that's a high priority item. I think that we have some roads that need some improvements, so I'm hoping that with the board's expertise, we can apply for some grants and really hit the ground running this year. Last year really wasn't a road year, so to speak, with all of our positive changes that we've had. But I'd really like to see the roads be tackled. And then finally, in the upcoming future, we will have some challenges with the fire going to full-time. And so we need to start planning for that now. And I appreciate some of the expertise of those people on the board that have volunteered for that. Which leads me to my last point that we can possibly address in other new business. I know that certain ways of doing things in the past has been or essentially a very strong town chair and supporting board members with a clerk doing a lot of the decision making. That's not the case now. What we have is, I think, a nice collaborative approach to how the town is taking care of business, with our elected officials each bringing their expertise and background to bear. And I think that, it's not just showing up at a meeting anymore. I expect more from our board members to contribute more than they have in the past. And I was looking historically, and I don't think anybody in the room can remember the last time that the salaries for board members have been adjusted. It's been that long. And so I'm hopeful that when we get to the item of new business, we can address some of that, to catch that up to the times. So that's one thing I'm hoping to see. But otherwise, I'm just very happy and proud to be here on behalf of the residents of the town. Very thankful for our able-bodied and contributing board members, and look forward to another great year. So that's my report. Any questions for me, from the electors? All right, well, then my report will be verbal, and I don't know if we need a motion to accept it, because I'm sure you're taking minutes and there's a video recording. So item number 6, set date for the 2027 annual meeting, which is being proposed as April 20th, 2027, the third Tuesday. My quick review of the statute indicates that will be in compliance. My only suggestion would be that we move the time to 6 p.m. So that we can be consistent with our other meetings, as we've decided as a group. 6 o'clock gives a better opportunity for people to get here. As you can see by our low turnout here. So that would be my only suggestion. So is there a motion for the electors to set the date and time for the 2027 annual meeting?
Move to set the date for the 2027 annual meeting at April 20th, 2027 at 6 p.m.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Bartzel, second by Blank. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to set the date, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Any other new business? So here, the electors, what is on your mind?
I would propose that we put information on what's happening in our town, almost like a courtesy update letter, and have that printed for when each monthly meeting is coming out on the desk, as well as taking a list also from our residents, if they would like to have their email given so that they can get signed up for updates. And also place this on the table as they come to meetings, trying to get more people involved in our community.
Any further discussion about that? Anybody else have any ideas on that?
I would just say that that makes sense. I think it's great to purposefully invite as much participation as possible by sharing information.
So, Ms. Blank, would you envision this to be a quick monthly newsletter generated by the staff?
That is my idea, correct.
And we have the ability already with the notice that comes out from the town on the meetings. So that could be placed right in with those that sign up for the email. They would get that.
Okay, the alerts.
Right.
Well, it sounded like you made a motion there, Susan. Do we have a formal second?
I'll second.
Motion by Susan, second by Bartzel, to have staff prepare a monthly town newsletter to be put at the meeting desk, as well as the alerts, and sign up to include emails if they want alerts. Did I capture everything in your motion, Susan?
Yes, thank you.
Clerks, did you get the substance of that? Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Just clarification, so this would be just a email type newsletter, not a paper newsletter, correct?
The only paper would be a sheet printed out on the table if someone that came to the meeting would like to pick it up.
Yeah.
It is not being mailed out, no.
Okay, yeah, so we don't incur any mailing costs, just email.
I think we could include in that reminders about dog licenses and burning permits and other things that are kind of annual notifications that should go out.
That would be very nice in the newsletter, yes.
And a reminder to get things out of the right of way before the plows come, things like that.
Right.
That would be a nice thing, yes. All right, well, that's a great idea. Anybody have further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Any other new business? Well, I will make a proposal as a town resident. I believe that, again, our elected officials are doing more than showing up for a meeting. We've asked several of them to be on subcommittees, to go to meetings beyond our town, to get training, to interact with various local government partners. And I've delegated some of those tasks to those with expertise. And Historically, for the record, I want it to be clear that our longest sitting board member can't remember the last time it was changed to be updated with inflation, costs of living, things like that, and also just, frankly, the now expanded duties. So my proposal, consistent with the legal opinion that I provided printouts for, is to increase the compensation to town board members, excluding the chair, by double. So whatever you're currently making, I propose that it double. And my motion would be that, consistent with the law, that for those in the middle of a term, it would become effective on the 1st of January of 2027. And for those who were just recently elected, it would not commence until the election has occurred for your position again. Again, that's consistent with the legal opinion document that I had provided. So that's my first motion. Any discussion or questions?
Would you entertain increasing it by half?
I mean, I'm certainly open to that. I think you're doing the work of what you had been doing. And so for me, that's the reason why I was, and plus the other thing is, you know, we can say that being on the board is about service, but in reality, nobody likes to work for free. And I know that you're putting in many more hours than, you know, you're reasonably being compensated for now. I'm aware of that. I'll certainly be open to what the electors feel is appropriate, but I think a substantial increase at this time is warranted based on the change in the scope of duties, the fact that it hasn't been increased for a minimum of 10 years. What's the elector's thoughts?
First off, I haven't got a second yet.
Yeah, I feel more comfortable with a number like 7,200. I'm saying that instead of 7,500 because it's easily divisible by 12. But I just feel a little better with not such a significant increase.
Mr. Treasurer, what is our current annual salary or stipend for board members?
$5,000 annually.
So if we did,
If you did 2,200, that would be almost a 50% increase.
it was 5,000 annually now, correct?
Yes.
And that would be easily, what would be easily divisible by 12?
7,200.
That'd be
An increase of 22.
we would continue to pay them quarterly.
Right. Well, having not had a second, I'll make a second motion. So you guys should know for the record that there was not a second on my initial motion. I move then that we increase the salary for board members excluding the chair to be $7,200 annually, paid quarterly, effective per the statute, which indicates that for those who were not just elected, that would begin on January 1st of 2027. And for those two board members who were recently elected, Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Mr. Hudson?
I will be opposed to that, and here's why. After serving on that Board of Adjustment for 9 years, and also for the members of the Plan Commission, who are, I wouldn't say maybe they don't put in as much work as the supervisors. But I know as board chair, chair of adjustment, Board of Adjustment, there was a lot of hours in that. And we got our measly $20 a meeting. When I come in and ask to increase that to what we were getting on the county board, which at that time was $75 a meeting, we were told no. I would caution you guys to think about what are the county board members making, and Dan, maybe you could help me with that. I don't remember.
It's $125 per meeting.
Per meeting, and usually you're going to hold 2 to 3 meetings a month. So what's that coming up to, about $300 and some odd a month?
$375 if you keep that way.
I would just say that I think right now if board members are getting, supervisors are getting $5,000 a year, I think that's plenty generous, especially given the supporting committee members of what they're getting. If you're going to do this, I would say, well, then you better think about the people that are sitting on the Plan Commission and the Board of Adjustment. But that's all I'll say on that.
Very good. Any other discussion? I guess one thing to note is that the only opportunity for us to change the elected official's salary is at an annual meeting or a meeting of the Board of Electors, such as the one in November. But if we do it in November, it hasn't been properly noticed, etc. And so this one has to be addressed kind of in this type of format of a meeting. I think, according to the opinion here, staff or other non-elected positions, we can address their salary needs at any time. But the reason why this takes on a little urgency now is this is our annual meeting where it has to be by statute.
Right.
I would also say that for the county board, there's 19 people shouldering the burden. And here, sometimes we're hard pressed to get a quorum of 3, right? So certainly when there was a shortage of staff, people were putting in more than their hours. And that can realistically happen at any time. And so there's only 5 of us to go around. So that's, I think it's, you know, we're also talking 8,700 potential humans. So I think that it's been a long time, maybe overdue, based on just simple inflation, simple cost of living. But again, I understand the need to potentially look at other staff, any other people that help us out, you know, whether that's set by statute, like the election judge stuff or whatever. But you know, we can do that at any meeting, and I'd be happy to put it on the agenda if that's something electors feel like doing. So, any further discussion, thoughts, Mr. Foster?
I would like to amend the motion to have, for those of us who are in midterm, that it be pressed until after the next election. So, in other words, as you propose it, it would sound like I would be in a situation of receiving additional compensation January 1st of 2027, and I think that should be pushed beyond the election.
Well, we certainly have the right to make it later. We can't do it sooner.
Yes, that's what I mean.
So if, what's the consensus? Does the electors feel that having it all at the same time would be better?
I'm not really thinking, I'm not proposing for each of us, you know, that it be beyond our next election.
Make it effective May 1st after a supervisor is reelected or somebody else is elected.
I would be willing to amend my motion to be effective at the next annual meeting. The election won't happen by then for the three people, well, two, because the chair doesn't count in this motion. So for the two people that would be standing for re-election or election, that would be after the election takes place, we said effective at the next annual meeting. Mr. Jordan.
I would support what Supervisor Foster said. I'm in midterm as well. I think that should come after the term for the next, whoever runs for that seat, whoever gets that seat, shouldn't be like we're voting for our own salary increases.
Right.
I also want to broaden the discussion to say, okay, we have made progress as a town throughout the years. We've kept the salaries the same, but then we have hired companies like SEH and other outside companies now take some of that workload off from those parts of the function. As long as we understand that if it increases $2,200 per supervisor, we're looking at about an $11,000 add to the overall budget. I think that's an important discussion also, just to say, for the people in the town that are trying to make their taxes and make their things go. I think it can be argued both ways, but it's an $11,000 add to a $3 million budget. But as long as we're talking tonight to discuss it, I think those are compromise parts. I wouldn't support the doubling of the salary, and for me personally, I would support doing it during midterm as a supervisor. But the motion's on the table, and I just wanted to add that dialogue.
So I will, based on the feedback from getting from the electors, I would amend my motion to have the first set of folks running for election or standing for election to not receive an increase until the annual meeting of 2027, so that therefore the election will have taken place, and so nobody will be getting an increase in salary that's voting for it now, if that makes sense. And then the original part of my motion for those who are in midterm, or just elected, excuse me, would be after their election is completed too. So that to me makes sense. So with my amendment to the motion, is there a second to that as well?
I will second that.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor of the amended motion as stated, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Let's do a voice. Let's do a hand count if we could. All the electors voting yes. Except there's 4. All those opposed? There's 3. Motion carries 4-3. All right, any other new business, anybody? Any other ideas? Any concerns, gripes, or whatever?
Don't let me cut loose.
All right. Well, I'm going to call.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, can we please put on the June board agenda to review the salaries of all of the appointed positions?
Yes, we can do that without motion. I will accept that. And just got the power to put that on the agenda. So if the clerks would please make a note that we have, there's been a request and the chair agrees Susan, is there a second?
Second.